he's like, that's how Jesus had his powers, because he was probably half alien. And I'm like, don't you think maybe this woman just got pregnant with a guy and lied about it? And he's like, well, listen, if you were an alien and you went to a planet with beings you never saw before, the first thing you would do is try to impregnate them.
It's the most guy thing ever.
It's a crazy thing to tell a woman on a date.
Where's Dad?
Welcome to Where's Dad? Where is he?
Where's Dad?
Where's Dad? Where'd he go?
Where's my dad? Why do we name it Where's Dad?
Why do we name Where's Dad? We clearly know where our dads are, but
Yes, we do know where our dads are.
but they were not there.
Not there a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I am a dad.
Yeah, you are a dad.
And when we talk, we have a lot of conversations where it feels like I'm being a dad.
I wouldn't know, but you
Yes,
would.
These are dadly conversations that we're having. So it just seemed to make sense.
Yeah.
Where's Dad?
A fun
It's
dad
just-
podcast.
Yeah. I help guide you. You help guide me.
Yeah.
And then hopefully we get better.
Yeah.
It seems weird to just talk about us, but nobody knows us, so maybe we need to.
We can do an intro for us.
All right. Who are you?
All right. Who the fuck are you sitting on my couch? I'm Natasha Riddick. I'm, you know me, Phil.
I know you. They don't know
Okay,
you.
sorry. I am a human lady comedian. That's how we know each other.
That's how we know each other. Yep.
I don't know. That's me. I'm a comedian. I'm here in the Bay Area. I don't know what else to say about myself.
Did you start here?
With comedy, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I did improv since high school. And then I taught improv for a bit, and then finally my friends were like trying out open mics, and I tried out one too. I'd always wanted to do comedy. And
What was your first open mic?
it's at Brainwash with Tony.
Tony, yeah.
And it actually went as fine as one could have expected. It wasn't great, but it definitely wasn't great. But I loved it still, so I just kept doing it.
Did you practice a lot before that, or were you just winging it kind of when you went up?
I kind of had an idea of like, they weren't even like jokes so much as tiny stories. Like I knew that there were these things that I would tell. And so I did that.
Were you scared?
I was nervous for sure. I think I went to a couple of those mics just watching before I actually did one. And then for maybe the next month or so, I had to have like a drink before I went on stage every time, which I wasn't really drinking at that time except for that.
Yeah.
And then eventually I like settled down about it.
And you loved it right away?
Yeah.
More than improv right away?
Improv is so sweet. And it's so nice because you have a team who hopefully you love. And when you get the laugh, it feels so good because it's all of yours. And when you fail, it's okay because it's all of you. When you fail alone, it is rough. But the laugh feels so much better when you get it alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'd worry in improv if somebody missed an opportunity. I'd be like, damn it. It was right there and you didn't fucking take it.
I think you can feel that way, but also there's so much going on at once. You don't have time to do a lot of thinking, which is nice too. And I do think I didn't switch right away once I started doing stand-up.
Okay.
Improv slowly went down, and then lockdown's really where it switched for me because the one show I was still doing, people decided to do improv over Zoom, and
Not a good.
no, stand-up over Zoom was okay. Improv over Zoom was so rough.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. Improv is bad. Stand-up is bad. Sorry, that was reflex.
You
Stand-up.
guys can't help it. You guys are so mean to improvisers. That's why I'm so scared to start stand-up, because this community I had heard being really mean about improv back in the day.
Yeah, actually, I never got it. I was
Yeah.
like, improv's great. I watch improv.
Yeah.
I loved Whose Line Is It Anyway? I thought that was the thing. But
Yeah.
I was never mad at it like a lot of
Yeah.
comics were. And then I'm still not mad at it. I don't care if you do it,
Yeah.
you like it, whatever. But I have seen very bad improv.
For sure.
But I've also seen horrible
Yeah,
stand-up.
yep.
So
Yeah.
I think it's a fair fight, really. I
Yeah.
don't know why one gets shit on more than the other. but
No, I don't
Does
know.
improv shit on stand-up as much as stand-up
Never.
shits on improv?
Never.
Yeah.
Improv to stand-up is almost like LA to San Francisco, where we love to hate LA for no reason. And LA's like, you guys are great.
Yeah. They're like, what are you arguing about? We have no idea.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I think I always wanted it. I thought about trying it,
Mm-hmm.
but I think the wanting the personal joy of getting the laugh myself, I think was
Feels really nice.
And then I don't like depending on other people, which probably says a lot about me, but
Yeah.
I don't like depending on them to come through. And if they don't, then I get very mad at it because then I'm
Okay.
like, you failed me.
Yeah, you really have this thing. That's so funny. I've
Yeah.
actually never felt that way in improv.
No?
I've never felt that way. No.
There's never like any like wrap up at the end where you're like, oh, I said this and you could have said that. Did you think of that?
Sometimes there's like, oh, it would have been fun if we had put that idea, but I never get to a level that's upset.
And when I'm saying I would get mad, I would
No, you
stew in
flip
it
tables.
I would stew it in my head and never say anything about it out loud publicly and just let it boil in my head and then remember it for the next 30 years.
I don't think I know any improvisers who think that way, actually. So yeah, you should stick with stand-up.
Yeah, I think I need to do
stick with
just stand.
That's so funny. What about you? When did you get into stand-up, and who are you? Tell them who you are.
I'm Phil Griffiths.
Yeah.
I'm a comic in San Francisco Bay Area. I started 2013, I think.
Oh, that's not that long ago.
Yeah, I've been doing it 11 years now.
Yeah.
So I started when I was 39, which is old,
Wow.
very old. And I wanted to do it my whole life. I thought about doing it since I was 12 years old, but I was too shy to do it.
Yeah.
And then I'd go to Blockbuster and I'd just rent all the Blockbuster as a theater.
I'm familiar with Blockbuster.
I would just go and rent like every comedy special, like Robin Williams, Whoopi Goldberg, Billy Crystal, and just kind of go down the list and watch it on and watch Eddie Murphy and all that, obviously, but just always too shy. And then even in my 20s, too shy. Probably wasn't until I met my wife where she kind of was great for me. She just kind of opened me up and be able to be
That's
like,
so cute.
like, fuck it, like you are, and I can act like myself in front of her, which was a huge thing. And so, but then even then we got married, we had kids, and still dreamed of doing it, but never thought I could do it. And then I always remember like Last Comic Standing came on. And I was naive at the time to not know that was like booked. Like I didn't know that was like, and I also didn't know those comics had been doing it for like 15 years or whatever. So I was like, oh, maybe I could do that, you know?
Yeah, just get on the show.
Yeah, just get on it and I'll be famous. And I don't have any material yet. But again, just never did anything, put it off, still too shy. And then my brother got really sick. He was in the hospital for like a year. And I would just go visit him and I'd sit and talk with him and be like, what do you regret? Like, he's like, I kind of regret we never tried stand-up. And I was like, yeah, I kind of regret that too. And then when he passed away, I was like, I don't want to have that regret.
Yeah.
So I wrote out 5 minutes. I had a couple other friends encourage me to, they're like, you should just go do it. Just go. You're so funny. Just sign up. And so I signed up at, well, first I went and stocked all the mics, like San Jose, because I grew up in San Jose, Cupertino. So I went and watched all the different horrible open mic shows all around there. But that was better because then I was like, well, I'm funnier than that guy. I'm not going to be that bad or whatever I knew.
Yes.
And then I went and signed up for the Roosters Wednesday showcase at Rooster Teeth Feathers. And then that was kind of like, now I have to do it.
Yeah.
I remember getting the email back from Heather and I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
Now I committed to somebody. And
that's so cute that you've known Heather so long.
Yeah. That was the very first one. And so then went and did that. It went pretty well. I mean, for my first time, it wasn't bad.
Yeah.
I wasn't like, it wasn't crickets or anything. And I was like, so I got off stage and I was like, fuck, I should have been doing this the whole time.
Yeah.
I was so mad at myself. But it was also like a moment of clarity where I was like, oh, this feels so good.
Yeah.
That felt great. I didn't even think about anything else for the last 5 minutes. It was awesome. And then I got off stage and then got some good feedback from other comics and then signed up again, did it again. And then it went not as good, but still good. But then another comic came up, Patrick McDermott. He's an older comic in the scene at the time, and he came up and was like, "You're funny." He's like, "You just need to work on getting like your laughs per minute up and try and work on that. So maybe rewrite it and just get it a little tighter." I was like, "All right."
That's great.
And then just kind of kept doing it from there.
I love that.
Yeah. So I've been doing that now 11 years and haven't stopped, much to my wife's mad about it, but it works out.
Does she like your comedy?
She loves like the actual comedy. She loves it. She's the best audience member ever. She laughs,
That's
still
so
laughs at
cute.
all my jokes that she's heard hundreds of times.
Yeah.
she likes, I call her out for like the bigger shows if she wants to go. Like if I know it's a headliner she'll like or something
Yeah.
like that, she'll come out and be on it, but or in the audience. But yeah, she still asks. She loves it. She's just like she's driven, which is what helped me. But she's like also forever optimistic.
Yeah.
But also doesn't get like how things work in entertainment stuff sometimes. Where she's like, why don't you just show up and tell them you want to go on at the show? And I'm like, that's not how it works. You have to go to on every Sunday for 2 years and hope you get to go up for 5 minutes.
Gosh.
She's like, and then they'll pay you? I'm like, no, then it's still free. You're donating your time.
Yeah. My mom's thing is like, oh, Natasha, you should just call Ellen. Just call Ellen. She's from Peru.
Yeah.
Just call Ellen. That's all. That's what I hear from her all the time. And I'm like, what do you think? I'm calling Ellen? And what's she going to do?
Yeah.
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 Mm-hmm.
I mean, I do love the delusion level of like, I wish it was that easy. It'd be great.
Yes.
But I think on also some level, she doesn't, my wife doesn't get the need to perform.
Yeah.
She's very like by the book, like by, just does numbers and stuff all day. So she's always like, well, that doesn't make financial sense. Why would you drive to Sacramento for $20? Like, I get it, but it's the opportunity, and I haven't performed in 3 days and I really need a set or something like that. So she doesn't get that part, which gets hard for her to understand. And then when I started, we had kids. My kids were old enough. They weren't like in diapers or anything still, but it's like dealing with kids every night.
Yeah.
And, and like, plus when I first started, I like really wanted to dive in, and it was like, oh, this is what I should have been doing. And so it was like,
gonna make up for lost time.
Yeah. And it's probably like midlife crisis-y moment type things where I was like, I want to get as much of this as I can in my system right now. And so those, after those signups, I did the comedy competition at Roosters. And so then I got to the finals like that first year, but she's like, after that, she's like, oh, okay, you're done. And I was like, no, I don't think I'm done. Why would I be done? And so then it was just like
so
going to
funny.
bars till 2 a.m. and still working in the morning. And, she's like, hello, I'm still here.
Yeah.
So we had to, it was a lot of balancing the first couple of years of like, I get you like to do this, but there's also like kids
You
and
have
wife and
a lot of like stakes almost.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of balancing that.
It seems so different to, even like without kids, be living with someone who's reflecting back at you, kind of how crazy, not that you say that, but like that there's money involved, that there's time involved, that all of that is kind of being like sacrificed.
Yeah.
Like there's almost something nice about not having anyone reflect back to you. So you're just like, I'm doing this crazy thing and probably like draining my bank account if I'm breaking even doing this, you know? It's so different seeing that and going, oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it is a verbal reminder every time you come home. You're like, how much did you make on that one? You're like, I think $4. I got a free drink though, so like there's a lot of that. And then especially at the time, like I had a good paying job. I was making really good money. And, it's like, does it make sense for you to leave for 4 hours to go do 10 minutes somewhere? 10 minutes, hopefully. But like to go do 10 minutes and not get paid when you could stay home and make,
It's true.
a lot of money per hour. So it's like that, but I do, because that's the other thing too, is like, because I started so late and I had kind of a, base life or whatever formed, but comparing yourself to other comics that are just starting out at this, you're like, I'm starting at the same time as these guys. And then you just are constantly comparing yourself to what's being offered to them or what shows they're getting. And you're like, you have to keep like incessantly reminding yourself, like, they have no girlfriend, they have no job, they're living at home, they're doing all these things that you're like, I just can't not do that.
Yeah, and their lives sound pretty sad from what you just said, so they really do this.
Yeah. I mean, it is funny because there was always like, everyone's like, oh, I just want to, be able to make this much and then I'll be fine. And it'll be like, I'm already making that much.
Yeah.
And I don't feel fine.
Oh, God. But will we ever feel fine, you know?
I know. But the comedy is just, that's part of it. It just feels so good.
It does.
It feels so great.
It really does.
It just makes you like, I don't like when people are like, oh, it makes me whole or whatever. Like, I don't feel like that. I just get a ton of enjoyment out of doing it.
Yes.
I mean,
feels very good.
Yeah.
Did you feel when lockdown happened almost like a withdrawal or like a deficit or a want to say like a hole, but there was something big missing for like the first
Yeah,
maybe month or so.
Yeah, it definitely felt not good.
Yeah.
And I think part of it was just because we had been just doing it so much. And then to have that just something you do 4 or 5 times a week just taken away from you. And you're like, who am I? What do I do anymore? Because I don't know, for me, like.
It's part of your identity.
Yeah. And for me, it always feels like, it sounds dumb, but it's like a superpower type superhero thing. Because in person, I'm pretty shy. I don't talk to a lot. Like I'm pretty quiet. I'm the guy in the corner at the party. I'm not talking unless you come talk to me type thing.
Yeah.
And so for me, it was always kind of like, they don't know. I could fucking tear this room down right now with these dick jokes.
I'll tell them how big my dick is.
Yeah.
And they'll laugh and laugh and laugh.
They have no idea what's about to happen. But so when that was taken away, I was like, there was a bit of like, shit, what am I?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, obviously still a dad, still a husband and all those things. But I think you're in this like weird, isolated chamber during lockdown. So I definitely missed a ton of that. And then, but then I did the Blabbermouth show with Red.
Yeah, that was so fun.
I think that saved me a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, just because it became like a green room hang for a lot of this shows, and it gave us something to focus on and something else to learn. We learned how to do video production and graphics for TV and stuff like that.
Isn't that fun?
Yeah. So I think comics liked it. It was a fun show.
I had such a good time.
Yeah.
So it was so fun.
It was good.
Did you guys do a poker one too?
Yeah. We would do poker on Friday nights.
Yeah. I played once
with camera. Everyone had a camera on, and we could sit and watch, and it was fun.
Yeah.
But I think it really just that legit saves me mentally for not having, because even when you did comedy and then it kind of just sucked. You couldn't hear anybody.
It wasn't the same at all.
So it was nice to have that just a good base of something else to focus on for a while.
I actually felt like that lockdown time was almost like bonding for a lot of Bay Area comics, like doing kind of those wacky Zoom shows or I don't know. There was something sweet about it to me.
Yeah. I felt like even a lot of times after the Zooms, you would just find it would be 4 comics just sitting there talking on the Zoom. Like you were trying to reconnect or keep that up.
Yeah, it was
whatever
cute.
it was. Yeah.
We're not supposed to say it, but I loved lockdown.
Oh, yeah?
Favorite time of my life.
Really?
I was the healthiest mentally, physically, emotionally, all of it. It was so good not having to be around people all the time.
Yeah.
And
without any pressure to have to.
Yeah, like I could say no to things and not feel guilty about saying no to things or no to hang out with people and just like focus on myself in all of the ways. It was so...
What was your time spent doing?
It was so fun. I would be working out. I taught myself how to shuffle dance. I was doing a lot of shuffle dancing.
Like that every day I'm shuffling that one?
Kind of like that. It's a lot of like running in place and foot stuff going all over.
Okay. All right.
I was doing that. I was getting really into plants. I was like getting into DIY stuff, like painting my space. I learned how to sew. I was doing furniture. I was making like a lot of fun videos since I was kind of like trying to move away from stand-up. I was like painting. I was just like kind of doing whatever I wanted to do, and it felt so good and healthy. And I was like working on loving myself more and reparenting myself, and that was really nice for me too.
That's good.
I miss it. I miss it so much. I know we're not supposed to because people died, but I miss it so much.
It wasn't because of what you were doing, though, I think.
No, I wasn't the cause.
I don't know what else you were doing.
I was not doing other stuff.
Just randomly killing people.
Yeah, sewing up a storm.
But wait, did any aspect of that continue for you?
I shuffle danced today. In fact, I'm going to be teaching 2 mothers how to shuffle dance on Friday.
Really?
Yeah. My therapist is on some listserv with parents.
Okay.
And she saw this post and she sent it to me and she's like, you could teach them how to shuffle dance. And I'm like, I could teach them how to shuffle dance. So.
But you didn't keep doing anything else from lockdown as far as like giving yourself like a couple hours a day or whatever?
Being nice to myself? Nah. It was a slow transition. I think when I lived alone, I was a little bit better at it too. No, it felt like it was kind of, I try to be loving to myself, but it's so hard to make the time for it.
Yeah.
And like in terms of like the hobbies and the things I liked exploring, there's also a balance of like, yeah, but what's the thing? Like how many ways can you split time? Yeah, I mean, the truth is I'm not good at being loving to myself, okay? And it was easier when I didn't have to think about anyone else as much. Yeah.
So you weren't dating during that time or anything?
During lockdown, I was doing some Zoom. I was doing Zoom dating. I was doing some Zoom dating, but light, not a lot, not heavy.
How was that?
It was tricky. It was nice not having to leave my house. I can't tell you how much I love not having. This is great. This is good. I never want to leave my house. So I liked that part of it. I liked that it was easy to end a date because you could lie so easily. Like, oh, I have a package coming. Oh, my roommate has a delivery I have to get. Oh, I have to let my roommate hear.
That's the lamest one.
They were also.
There's a package. I'm gonna have to end this right now.
I'm so sorry.
It's not even for me.
It's for my roommate, but I have to. Okay, I'm gonna let you go. It's. Oh, I have a writing meeting I didn't realize I had right now. Oh, there were so many lies I told. It was so good.
Man.
Yeah.
But would you like fully get ready for those?
No.
No.
What?
I don't know.
No. Why?
I don't know. I feel like I would. Anytime I did Zoom, I had to like. Well, I guess I'd throw on a hat if I had like. I didn't really give a shit.
Yeah. Maybe I'd wear like a cutish top, or maybe
Yeah.
I'd throw mascara on. But I felt like I was really in my like athleisure wear workout time, because I was just like doing workout and being comfy and being kind to myself and everything, you know.
Did they ever go farther than Zoom?
Yeah, we had a few. I had a few. It's the first date I think I went on with someone who wasn't a man. And then also a few other men too, and they'd be in person, but nothing that really took off beyond a couple dates.
Do you think that was just because of the pandemic time type thing, or you think it just wasn't right?
I think that for maybe it wasn't right. I think those guys for sure just wasn't right.
Yeah.
I do think that there's an ability when you're not being so careful to go through more guys faster and date more guys faster. And I do think dating, for better or worse, at least for me, is a numbers game. And so when you can amp up the numbers, you can find someone better faster.
That's so weird. I didn't date much growing up.
And you just got a perfect one just right away. And now you're happy forever.
Locked it down. That was it.
That's amazing.
Found it.
That's amazing.
I'm trying to think how many girlfriends I've actually had. 5?
Yeah.
4?
Wow.
I mean, number of dates is probably 10, like of people I've dated.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like people you've been on a date with?
Yeah, I can't think of many more than the girlfriends that I've actually had that I've gone on dates with. There's maybe like 3 or 4.
I've been on at least 60 dates. At least 60 first dates.
Really?
Yeah. Because I did that 30 dates in 30 days.
Yeah.
10 years ago. And then I did this one with Brett.
Oh, wait, you did it before the one with
I did a
Brett.
blog and Brett was like, oh, we should,
okay.
I want to do that, you know?
So you were doing that, what year was that?
2014. Just after a breakup. I got out of a 2.5 year long, he says 3 years, a 3 year long relationship. And I realized I never just dated. I'd fall into relationships fast. And so I was like, let me just gamify it so it's fun.
Yeah.
My tagline was, I'm dating San Francisco, so you don't have to.
This was just a blog?
Yeah.
No visual video?
I did little videos afterwards, but like nothing very long. Yeah. And it was like at the come up when people were starting to do videos on Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah. 2014.
Which time was better? The first time or the second time?
The second time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why?
I think because I was older.
Yeah.
I thought being older would be bad for me because I thought Brett's, I don't want to say 10 years, maybe 5 years younger. I was like, she's going to have a great time. She's a young woman in her 20s. She's going to have the best time on this. I'm going to have the worst time because by my age, it seems like it's slim pickings out there.
Yeah.
Exact reverse experience. I had a great time. I think I'm better at picking now as an adult.
Yeah.
I think maybe guys my age know a little bit more about what thoughts to keep in their head and what thoughts to have out loud. And I think that helps too. And maybe they're clearer on the apps and
Yeah, I feel like
have a stronger sense of themselves, maybe.
Yeah, just less horny.
Maybe less horny. Yeah.
That's part of it.
That could be part of it too.
Like they're settling into themselves a bit.
Exactly. And I will say 10 years ago, I had to do one new one every single day. This one, I could have a bunch lined up in one day and have a couple days off, which is less desperation for this one needs to happen no matter who he is.
But that was so you'd have multiple dates in the same day?
Yeah.
What was the max you did?
Technically, we did a speed dating event one day, which maybe was like 5, 7. Those are rough. Speed dating events are rough here in the city for women.
Yeah. I imagine that's just horrible, period.
I mean, it's the dream. Did you ever see like speed dating in movies and TV and go, that looks
Yeah.
so cool, I want to do that? Because
Yeah,
we
yeah.
always thought that as women. We
Yeah.
always like, I want to do that.
Yeah, but I think the reality of it just seems insane.
Yeah, it is crazy. And you
Because what
don't
do you
get
get,
enough.
like 3 minutes or a minute or something?
Unfortunately, the most recent one I went on where I came back from that second date with him at the show the other night, it was 7 or 9 minutes, which feels like it should be enough to get a sense of someone. But boy, this date with him was so bad.
I think I'd have a tough time showing my personality in 7 or 9 minutes.
But you could get a sense like, oh, I'd want this again. Like a tiny
Yeah.
taste of a food. Like, oh, I'd be willing to see that there's more in this.
I guess you're like,
And you can sense like if you're attracted to someone
Yeah.
enough by then.
yeah. Yeah, I guess that's right. You wouldn't be, you just kind of gauging, like, he's probably not going to kill me.
Exactly. Yeah. Or like if he's just like kind of being weird those 7 minutes, you're like, good, we're done with this, you know?
Yeah, I guess because, like, what do you do for fun? It's those type of questions, right?
Yeah. Or what do you do for work? Or,
Do you bring up comedy?
I try not to, because if I bring it up on a date quickly, that is all they're interested about.
Yeah.
I remember on one date with a guy, he asked me no questions for an hour. And then he found out I did comedy and suddenly he had questions for me. And I hated that. That really pissed me off, you know?
Yeah.
But on these speed dates, I think I did half and half with like letting him know about comedy at some point if they
Yeah.
asked about. But I'm not going to reveal unless like ask what I do with my time or what I care about or whatever. And then I'll bring it up. And then usually they'll have questions.
I don't know if I'd tell people if I was dating, if I would tell them I was a comic right away.
Yeah.
I don't know. It seems...
Well, it's because you have your Clark Kent Superman thing, so you got to keep it a secret.
Keep it a secret. I'm not letting this out. No way.
They have no idea what I could do.
This Chili's is not ready for what I'm about to let out.
I'm going to blow this Applebee's apart.
Yeah, no, I don't think I could do it.
Yeah.
Do you get hit on much after shows?
Never.
Never.
No, it's so fucked up. Sorry. I'm sorry. It is just
Feels like
men.
we hit a spot right now.
Men get hit up all the time. They get hit on all the time. And you should get hit on all the time if you don't. But other men
Yeah.
definitely do.
If I do, I probably don't recognize it. If that
Possible.
is- I mean, I've definitely had a couple times where they're pretty blatant about it, where I was like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm good, thanks.
Uh-huh.
But it definitely puts me on my heels, where I was like, wait, what? What's happening?
Yeah.
This is insane.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't get it a lot. If I do.
Most women don't get that.
No?
No. I think a lot of, at least like, I think dudes, a lot of them tend to think they're funny.
Yeah.
And so if a woman's out there being funny, I think part of them's like, what am I bringing to the table? Or like, I don't know.
Just intimidating type thing.
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess there's also probably like, you maybe feel like you're going to get talked about a lot. So maybe that just
I
backs
think
you
some
down.
guys get worried about that for
Yeah.
sure.
That's weird.
On the dating apps, definitely a lot of guys are like, oh, are you going to talk about me in your set? You know? And it's like, I hope not. I'd rather this be nice.
I know. I'd rather we fall in love and you take me away from all this.
But here we are.
Yeah, that's tough. Yeah, because my daughter's dating now too.
Yeah.
And she's starting to do the apps.
Is this the younger one, older one?
Older one, she's 22.
Is she the one who you asked me about the advice for with the
Yeah.
Tell me how about all that went. Tell me how it all went. Or whatever you're allowed to.
Yeah, well, we'll see if I'm allowed to. But the, she was like, matching with guys and then going on dates, but she was trying to figure out how to nicely let them down.
Yes.
And so she was asking me, she's like, is this a good thing to say? Should I say this? And I was like, I don't know. I would probably be in a different route, but that's why I asked you. I was like, what do you say to let guys down nicely without them stalking and killing you after? And
Yeah.
I think it was good. She had written something already once
Good.
I sent her what you sent, and it was pretty similar. I think it was just,
That's great.
I think you had one line in there, something about like, I want to respect your time and your,
Yeah.
and I was like, that's a really good line. 'Cause
Yeah.
That's going to make the guy feel like, yeah, I do. I am important.
Yeah,
And my time
exactly.
is worth saving from you.
It's like you're doing them a favor.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've been copy and paste sharing a version of that around with me and my girlfriends for
Yeah.
say 7 or 8 years.
Yeah. It's great.
I think the first one I got was from Annie Bernstein. I don't know if you remember her.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so she gave one to me, and then I passed it on to all my friends, and it evolves. I used it the other day. One of the guys I was removing from the roster, and he responded so beautifully. He was like, "But I'm so sexy." It's like, you're right. I don't know. I haven't. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's great. I mean, I can't even imagine having to do that now. Like, that just seems...
Having to reject people? Or like having to date, you mean just in general?
Yes, all of it. Dating seems crazy. Rejecting people, finding them on an app seems crazy.
Yeah, it is weird.
I definitely sound like I'm 100, but it is insane to...
Yeah, it's not great.
Do you think there's ways to find people outside of apps?
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. But it's trickier.
Yeah.
But like we have, there's still always meeting at work. People meet at work.
Yeah.
One of my best friends, she and her guy met at work.
That's where I met my wife.
Yeah. I think activities are always good.
Yeah.
I think for meeting people, you need to be at an activity that you're at with a frequency where you can get to know people enough, So it can be a sport, tennis, I don't know. Pickleball.
That's supposedly big now in the city.
Yeah, it's big now. Sorry, my ex did pickleball, and the one before the last ex. And so I have a...
So you can't go to any pickleball courts anymore?
I could. I just don't like pickleball. Also, my mom just broke her arm from pickleball a week or two ago. So
my wife keeps trying to get me to play it, and I'm like, no, I'm trying to keep this intact.
Yeah, be careful.
Yeah, I can't just be letting this out loosey-goosey.
No, you can't let them know.
I've got to keep this on the inside. I'm obviously a natural athlete, but I'm not going to let it, that's for me to know.
No, yeah, you can't let them know what you can do to a pickleball court.
Yeah, tear that court up.
Yeah.
They have no idea. Do you do bars and stuff? Do you like meeting guys in bars?
I am so suspicious when I'm getting hit on at a bar. I think I have been that way since I was young. I used to be a real bitch at bars when I was younger.
How so?
When guys are hitting on you with kind of any, not even aggressive like mean, but just like when it's forward or it feels obvious, I immediately feel like I'm prey, like I'm being, and it kind of like, it freaks me out. But then at some point in my maybe earlier mid-20s, whenever a guy would ask me for my number at a bar, I'd ask him to give me 10 reasons why I should give him my number. And guys would interpret that as like, oh, because you're so beautiful and you have a beautiful smile. And I was like, no. Give me 10 reasons why I should give you my number. And then they'd have to come up with reasons about themselves. And they'd be like, I have a car. So I was doing that for a little bit at bars too. I think now at this age, I would, I think we're all able to be maybe a little bit more subtle than in my 20s. So I don't think I wouldn't mind meeting someone at a bar now, but it's hard to like suss out who they are. Yeah. A little bit,
Yeah, I mean the liquor obviously loosens everyone up a bit too.
It
so
does.
Then you're like, is this you or is this you tonight?
Yeah.
I think that's always worried me. But I was horrible in bars too. I couldn't do.
What were you like in bars?
Literally standing on the wall, just going, "This guy's a fucking idiot. Look at this chick. Jesus Christ!
This bar has no idea what I could do, right?
This bar has no idea. I could tear this whole place up right now."
Hear that meme? I don't know if you've seen that meme where like it's like a guy who's like, no one at this party knows blah 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 right now, like about like what he can do or however he can feel, and there's like a couple making out on someone else, and they're like, yeah, we all know. I'll find it. I'll send it.
Yeah, no, I can't do it. I'd go to bars. I mean, not that I would go to bars a lot. My friends and I were not bar guys, so we would just like, if we would go, I would literally just sit at the bar and drink. And if somebody came up and talked to me, I'd talk to them, but I would not
approach anyone.
And I'd probably do the like whole eye contact thing, whatever, but it wasn't anything, if they'd come up to me, I would just be like, yeah.
Okay.
You have no idea who I am. I couldn't, I was not ideal.
Do you feel like your stature comes into that? Because I think I have a freeness since I'm so small, I can approach anyone and no one's scared.
Yeah, I mean, definitely that, and my voice, I think, can be intimidating. So, I mean, it helps me out on stage, I think. I think I'd get less hecklers and stuff like that, or I'm able to shut them down, I think, quicker because of it. But, it was also, I mean, I still don't feel like I'm as big as I am, if that makes sense.
I don't feel like I'm as small as I am.
Yeah, like in my head, I'm still like a 12-year-old, 160-pound dork. And so, like, I feel like that's... But then when I remember it, when I'm talking to someone, I'm like, oh, I should try and get smaller and get down to your level of I'll talk a little lighter for you or whatever. Like I try and I think I do that.
Mm-hmm.
Again, unless I'm got the cape on and I'm in Superman mode, then I let him have it. But the yeah, I think I definitely do kind of reduce myself a little bit sometimes when I talk to people, just because I guess it can be intimidating.
Maybe.
Yeah. In a bar, though, I think it's
whatever.
Yeah.
Everyone's sitting or standing. I do think in San Francisco bars, like people who go out, they kind of go out like, I feel like in like New York, people are more open to meeting each other at a bar. San Francisco, I feel like when people are going out, they're like, I'm going out to be with my friends. I'm going out to be with the people I'm with. I'm going out, you know what I mean? And it doesn't feel like there's necessarily a lot of like, I'll see whoever's at the bar, you know?
Yeah, I mean, we've done a couple comic hangs at like the park or whatever.
Yeah.
And those are always weird to me because I never did that. I would never, hey, let's meet at the park. It seems so strange. And I wasn't a city guy, so it just seems so weird. But then I always think in those instances that it's just going to be people milling around and like, but no, everyone just keeps to their own little pod. And it's like, how dare you talk to us? We're just here right now.
Yeah, it's intense here.
Yeah, so that seems, you'd think when you see all those pictures of people in, what's that park called? Dolores Park. When you see people there and you're always like, oh, that looks like a really fun time. And then you realize like, nope, everyone's keeping to themselves totally. They're never talking to each other.
No one knows each other.
Yeah, I think that'd be different.
Mm-hmm. I did get hit on at a club. I went out to a club with Sophia and Ashley.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's like Blondies, but on Friday and Saturday nights, I don't even Blondies on Valencia, but it turns into like a sweaty, clubby little place.
All right.
And we got some young guys who were kind of associating with us. And then, at the end, we went to go get pizza, just me and Ashley and Sophia. And then the guys were like staying outside, but they were like looking in every once in a while. And then one of the guys came and bought us roses from one of those guys just selling roses and gave a rose to each of us and told us how beautiful we were and left. And then another guy came and then just gave me a bunch of roses and then tried to get my number. And I'm like, you're really young for me. And he's like, I can make stuff happen. I was like, I don't know what stuff, but he's going to make stuff happen.
Look, he's a superhero in waiting. He's right there waiting for it. He's going to make it happen.
No idea.
He has no idea.
I gave him my number, but I never responded because it just felt crazy. It felt too, I know that maybe if the genders were reversed, someone wouldn't mind. What am I doing with a little guy? You know, those are the roses from them, though, over there. Those are the roses from one of the guys. Like, you can take these roses and put them upside down in your house. And I go, oh, I'm joking. I'm like, sure, I'm putting them upside down in my house.
It's very bad luck. I'm just telling you that right now.
Is it? Because it looks scary.
Yeah, it's very bad luck to have dead roses in your house.
I had no idea. Why do you tell me to do that?
Maybe he's stalking you now, but
okay, I'll throw them away.
Yeah, that's according to my wife. Her whole feng shui thing, like dead flowers are not good.
Yeah, that makes sense because they're dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. That explains. Everything's been fucked up for me since then.
Yeah, I think it would be. I mean, yeah, you're right. I think reversed age difference is probably okay, but I think there's also issues there too. But what's the youngest you'd go then?
I think the youngest I've done is maybe 4 years younger than me.
What's the oldest you'd go then?
Let's see. I think I would not want to go more than 10 years.
Okay.
Yeah. I think more than 10 years. I don't know.
I mean, it's obviously, there's fuzziness there, right?
Yeah.
It could be a little older or whatever. It just depends on the mood. And
I think it depends.
Yeah.
I think whenever there's big age gaps like that, there's a part of me that's like, why aren't the women your age wanting to date you?
Yeah.
Do they know something I don't know?
Yeah.
You know?
I definitely think, I mean, like I know, guys that are my age that are dating younger women and then, but I don't know if I know anybody that's like got a long-term thing going. Like it was just kind of like they got divorced and then they were like going to town for whatever. So I think there's been that, but I don't think it sticks. I don't know if I know anybody that has stuck it out with that. But
yeah,
I think once you're much past that generationally, it starts to feel like different music. You're like, I don't even know who the fuck that Led Zeppelin is, whatever. Like, then I think that changes the relationship where you can't totally relate all the time.
Yeah,
I think that's a bigger part of it.
Yeah, I don't want to have to explain a lot of stuff.
It's just, Natasha, what's this emoji mean?
Exactly. What's Riz? Don't worry, honey, you don't have it.
Do I have got? I don't know.
My most recent ex, he did have like an obsession with feeling like he was hip. Like he wanted to feel hip and young all of the time.
Yeah.
And he wanted to know like what was going on with the kids all the time and what all the stuff was.
Yeah. I mean, I get that. That is a part of,
Aging.
because he was older, right?
Yeah, maybe 5 years older.
Yeah. I think that's part of the age. Just, I mean, I know as a dad, like I'm always like,
What's going on?
I don't want to be the dad who's trying to be cool,
Yeah, that's the difference, I think.
but I want to be the dad who at least knows what the fuck you're talking
You want to
about.
know what's going on.
Yeah.
I think that's the difference there.
I always remember like growing up, we'd play baseball a lot, and we'd go to my friend's house, and his dad was always there. That's crazy, but
Can you imagine?
and he would, his dad would come out and like umpire for us, or whatever, and then like, but his dad would just throw "dude" around because we said "dude" a lot, and so like the guy would slide in home plate and he'd be like, "The dude is safe, the dude is out," and I was like, come on, dude. You don't have to say that. Like, we get it. We're appreciative you're actually here.
That's so cute.
But so I never wanted to be that dad. But so like with my kids, I'm always, I think like I try and, I mean, even just comedy keeps me up on a lot of stuff. Because I hear everyone just talking about it on stage. I'm just like, what's this all about? But so I get to know a lot of stuff sometimes before my kids do, which is a treat. But the most of the time, at least, I know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
But then they'll kind of shut me down too. Like, don't say that. Never talk about that. Like, oh, okay, sorry. Even like I remember Chad Opitz, local comic here. He always has the story. He's like, yeah, I saw you at open mic, and I was like, who's this old fucking dude? He's like, just because I was just doing what I do best,
so
standing in the corner
funny.
like a fucking creep, and. But then like you get to know me, that was fine. But like it was the just having that fear of being already so old, and so much older, and then because now I get to look at all those comics and go, remember when I was the old dude in the corner? You're that guy now. You're the same age I was.
You feel old.
And now I'm even the fucking Santa Claus in the corner. But it does. You can start feeling that much older.
Yeah.
And especially when you start comparing and all that other stuff. Again,
I
like,
bet.
that gets even worse.
I feel like there's an age though where like you pass an age and it comes back around in a nice way.
What do you mean?
Well, I think there's like a point where you're aging and you feel out of touch. And then I feel like there's like one age you get past it, there's almost a freedom in it.
Yeah, almost like he's not supposed to know.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a bit of that for sure. Yeah, and then you can defer that a lot too. You're like, how would I know that? I'm fucking 50. How would I know that?
Yeah. That sounds good.
Yeah, and you don't care. You truly don't care.
Yeah.
99% of the time.
Uh-huh.
So it does make it a bit easier.
Yeah.
Did your parents broke up early?
Oh, yeah.
How old were you then?
Broke up makes it sound so much cuter than it was. He just broke up. She sent him that text that I text everyone. She's like, I want to respect your time, Howard.
At this time.
Yeah, they broke up when I was like 9 or 10.
9 or 10, okay.
Yeah.
And did your mom date after that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah.
Rough. Turns out her picker never been that great.
Yeah.
Never been that great. There were one or two that were good, but God, there were just some real stinkers in there.
Yeah.
It was disappointing.
I think that happens.
Yeah.
I mean, not to everybody, obviously, but I think the pickers are broken quite a bit.
Yeah.
And if it's broken once, pretty good chance you're going to pick a bad one again.
Yeah, and whatever that age is and that generation, I don't think that they're like doing therapy. I don't know if there's a lot of self-reflection actually.
Yeah, not at all.
And I don't know if your mom was this way, but my mom had kind of like a fixation that my little brother needed a father.
Yeah.
And so I think that drove her more than maybe like, is this a good guy who I like for myself and want to spend time with myself?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, we got duds.
Yeah, I was in a weird age range, I think, when 'cause my parents got divorced when I was 5, 6.
Yeah. They broke up when you were 5?
They broke up. He sent her a long text. It was a big thing. But Yeah. So I was like 5, 6, but I weirdly like rode this line of ignorance and
Yeah. Were you the oldest?
no, I'm the youngest.
Okay, yeah.
So my I had an older brother and older sister, sister 6 years older, and my older brother is 8 years older. And but my brother went to live with my dad pretty quick. And then my sister and I lived together with my mom. And then, but I really rode this like, there was definitely, rough spots or whatever. But luckily she married this guy when I was like 11 or 12.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like exactly who I needed right then at that moment.
That's great.
And it kind of like, he got me into baseball.
Aww.
He was there like all through my high school till like senior year.
Yeah.
And then I literally think if he didn't come in that time, I probably would have gone other ways.
Yeah.
And so, I look at that as like just so lucky to have that guy in my life at that time to just kind of turn things around and help. Because, my brother and sister went through different things, had many different issues. And I always think of him as kind of that saving grace in that little time frame, because I think that 11 to 17 time frame is just
big.
So key. So I was really lucky with that.
Wow, that's so nice.
Yeah.
My brother was about 5 when my parents broke up.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so interesting. There's like amount of, I think maybe you're almost too young to know that something's super different or something, or to like understand the stakes enough, or I don't know. It's a little bit different.
Yeah, I had no clue. I mean, I knew I was visiting my dad every other weekend.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what was going on. I mean, now I know all the stories, but I don't know then. I was just like, I guess I go here this week. I guess I'm there this week. So you just kind of bounce back and forth. And then my dad moved away to like Connecticut. So it only seemed like in the summer.
Yeah.
So like stuff like that made it just kind of not out of sight, out of mind, but just kind of like, oh, I guess this is what we do now. And I never really compared myself to a lot of other kids. Like I didn't realize like, oh, you have a dad here? Oh, that's cool. Like, your mom's not working 2 jobs? That's crazy.
Interesting.
Stuff like that, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I never, kind of put those things in my brain.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny how kids maybe don't?
I think it's self-preservation. I think you just...
Yeah, you're probably right.
This is, put the blinders on and be like, this is life now.
Uh-huh. This is life. Move forward. There's different, maybe, I don't know. I'm not looking at it. All there's just good snacks here.
There's just 2 adults living that house. That's crazy.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Seems like too much for my taste.
There's not enough police activity at that house for my liking.
And there's a lot of kissing, and I don't know. We don't hug each other in my house. Stop touching me. My mom's still like really weird about hugs.
Oh, yeah.
She does not like to hug for long at all. And my brother started making a thing some years ago, because I guess he read a study about like how hugging for a certain amount of seconds releases some yummy stuff in your brain.
A minute, yeah.
So my brother tried doing that with my mom, and my mom, she just starts squirming so fast, and I'll hug her, and I know I can't hug her for long, and she gets annoyed. She always breaks away so fast, and I like try a little bit longer, and she hates it. And even lately when I've been like doing her hair, because she needs 2 arms for that, and her arm's broken, so I've been like doing her hair, and I'll touch her some way, and she'll just like freak out. I'm like, yo, I'm helping you here. You need to settle down. Huh. It's so weird. Touch was goofy in our family.
Yeah, I think touch for us was always that kind of huggy with my mom, and that was not really with my dad as much.
Yeah. Your dad went all the way to Connecticut?
Yeah, well, we moved here from England when I was like 5.
Oh, yeah.
And so we were here, and then my parents got divorced like immediately after that.
Mm-hmm.
We were supposed to move back to England. That didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I was supposed to move back with my mom. That didn't happen. So then we stayed out here, and then... my dad, not too long after, maybe a few years after, maybe I was like 6 or 8 or something like that, they moved to Connecticut, Westport. And so they had a house out there. So I would just go in the summers and hang out. And their house have you ever seen Amityville Horror?
No.
Yeah. You're not that old, but it's a very...
I heard a podcast about it, though.
It's a very scary looking house. My dad's house in Westport looked exactly like that. It
Interesting.
was terrifying. I have like not great memories, not because of anything my dad did, but it's probably more than what my sister did, which she'll love this, but like she was supposed to babysit me one time, and she just left with my stepsister, and they went out to go party or whatever. And so I'm stuck in this gigantic house,
So scary.
lightning and thunderstorm,
Oh,
and then the power goes out.
were you all home alone?
Oh my God, terrified on the couch. And
Oh.
I thought when I was little, I thought when the lights went out, that's when the monsters changed hiding spots and came closer.
Yeah, of course.
And so I was just terrified running out. And then I also had I used to think that there was a show called The Incredible Hulk. That was like a live action one with Lou Ferrigno.
Was he dressed up all hulky?
Mm-hmm.
Funny.
He was like Arnold Schwarzenegger buff, and they painted him
Wow.
green.
So he's naturally that buff?
Yeah, yeah.
That's crazy.
And then they just put like a costume on him, and they would change from literally one actor to this new other. big
That's so funny.
That's insane that you don't know this. But
Sorry.
I think we need to do a section of what
Okay.
Natasha doesn't know.
There are a lot of
And we just
things.
like pull up all Gen X stuff. But yeah, so I used to have nightmares that my dad would turn into the Hulk.
Yeah.
Again, not that my dad was hitting me or anything like that. It was not, but it was just, that was always a dream I had or
How
whatever. So like
funny.
in this, I was just terrified with this thing going on. And then I used to sleep in this like little hallway outside of my brother's room that went up to the attic.
Yeah.
But in the attic, I was hearing like noises, and it's just when you're a kid, attics
Yeah.
are terrifying.
Oh, yeah.
And there was like a bee or a wasp nest up there, so I just heard buzzing as I was like sleeping.
That's scary.
Yeah, just terrifying.
Big spaces that you can't see when you're a kid and that are dark and that are near you.
Yeah, not great.
Very scary.
Yeah.
Did you have a brain that ran pretty scared when you were young? Like, did you
Yes.
have lots of kind of like nightmares and fears and stuff?
A ton.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I was a kid, I used to. My friends still tease me about this, but I thought I saw the movie Westworld, the original, not the HBO series.
Mm-hmm.
Westworld, the original, with Bill Brenner or something like that. Anyway, so have you watched Westworld, the new one?
Yes, but
You know,
only the
it's-
first season.
Yeah, so it's like a virtual world that you can go into. They're all robots, whatever.
Cool. Yeah.
Again, watched that in Connecticut and thought, oh, this is my life. Everyone else is robots.
Oh, no.
I am living life.
Oh, no.
So I thought everyone was a robot. And I thought when I'd walk in a room, everyone was like frozen and then would just start moving as I walked in the room.
That's so scary.
Because of this movie. It's
Yeah.
terrified me for a long time. I thought when I'd go on a plane, I thought they were just showing a movie on the side of the plane and they were just changing the sets.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a real delusional fucking shit.
Yeah. Very kind of paranoid.
Yeah.
That's scary.
Yeah. So I was, growing up, I was a pretty scared kid most of the time.
That sounds
Living in a world of robots, pretty terrifying for most.
We're living in it now, though.
I still question it sometimes.
Wow. I read a lot of Stephen King when I was young, and I watched a lot of scary movies, and I watched It with my friend, maybe at the age of 9.
Okay.
Familiar with It, the
Yeah,
clown? Bathrooms. I got really scared of bathrooms for a while. There are a
wow.
lot of scary bathroom scenes, and I get nervous about bathrooms.
So what'd you do? Just like shit
I
in
would
the
just
tub?
be shit in the tub. Like, this will be good. No, but it'd be like a lot of like lights on. It'd be a lot of like checking stuff and trying to go like in and out of the bathroom as fast as possible.
yeah.
I was kind of spooked out by that.
Yeah.
My mom also was scared for me in a way she made very known to me all the time. I heard a lot since I was very young. I still hear it in my head that, Natasha, you're so small. You're so small. Anyone could just pick you up and take you away. And like, I heard this so much.
A light breeze could kidnap you if they wanted to.
Yeah, there was a lot of like verbiage around me getting kidnapped since I was very young. So I'm still so scared of it, which is crazy.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's also crazy because like I had girlfriends who were always told like growing up that they were beautiful and they were good looking, and that's like not really what I heard growing up. It was all like, you're so smart and your personality kind of whack, but you're so smart, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, you think I was going to get kidnapped because I was so smart? You know what I mean? Like, not even like a good looking kid you kidnap. You're just like, she can type.
I need some help on my SATs. I'm gonna take this one.
This will do. It's crazy. But yeah, I had a lot of, my mom wouldn't let me go to like downtown Tiburon, like with friends, because she's like, they're going to put drugs in the food there. There's going to be drugs in the food at the places. Like, she'd tell me the craziest shit all the time.
You're like, it's McDonald's. There's
Yeah,
already
there's already
drugs.
crazy shit, and it's good. There are scientists behind
Yeah.
it, you know?
Yeah.
A lot of that, a lot of, I don't know if she explicitly used the word rape, but she put a lot of fear in my head around being raped.
Yeah.
There was a lot of, just everything was a big, scary world, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I think mine was, because This was 80s when I was growing up. There was a kid who got kidnapped around here named Kevin Collins.
Wow.
And that...
Was he small? Was he really small?
Just very small.
Yeah, makes sense.
I think it was like North Bay, though. I think it was like Petaluma or something. It always seems like it's Petaluma. But there's... it was a huge case. And then that was when everyone just would just... I think that's when people started protecting their kids more.
Yeah.
It was when all those public kidnappings became huge. And so that was always like a real fear that you were going to get kidnapped by somebody. It was always... But, you know, they'd still let you ride your bike like fucking 10 miles across town. But they didn't want to drive you. But
they didn't let me ride my bike.
well, they let me. But, yeah, it was that. I think in those 80s when kids started getting kidnapped and getting publicly shown on TV, I think that's when it became a lot more scary for kids. I was terrified of it.
Were you?
Yeah, it was always a fear.
Wow.
But
and you were tall.
Not at the time. Tall for me.
You were born tall.
6'4" when I was 7 years old.
It was a long birth just because they had to keep pulling you out like a scarves out of a magician's sleeve. It's like, wow, it keeps coming out.
Just never stops.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I didn't get tall till like junior year of high school, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's late to tall.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Real growth spurt. How little were you when you were little?
Very little. So
no
small.
idea.
So small, so thin, like big bug eyes still, like and frizzy hair and braces, just like tiny bug. I will say, I think around freshman year of high school, I talled up enough to be like, I'm considered, I think, average height for a woman, actually. Yeah. I'm still told I'm small, but I'm still average height for a lady. And I think finding out that I wasn't the shortest anymore was a little bit sad. I think I had built that up into who I was, that I was a short little person.
Yeah.
But yeah, sometime around freshman year of high school, I think I became normal height.
Normalized.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I was like, I think by senior year I was 6'3".
Wow.
Because I'm 6'4" now, so it's like 6'3". I had like size 13 shoe.
Wow.
And I have 15 now, so.
That seems goofy. I'm a size 7's woman. I don't even understand what 15 is.
Yeah, it's real clown shoe action.
Yeah.
But but I was like 175, 180 pounds. And
String bean.
Not kidding. You could literally see my heartbeat
Wow,
through my chest. Like,
that's crazy. Aww.
Yeah, super skinny.
Yeah.
But I had like legs for some reason. I had strong legs.
Because you got a whole extra body up there you got to carry around.
Yeah. That's how the superhero part became a thing.
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows. These legs are so powerful.
I don't see it under the pants, but they are.
Nobody knows it, but I could squat this entire room right now.
I used to have a lot of, I think a lot of my mom's teachers and my teachers, my mom's friends, all were really nervous about how thin I was.
Oh, like nutritionally, like.
Yes, there was a lot of like.
But were you eating a lot?
Yeah, as soon as it sounds stupid, but as soon as I could read, and I could know what ingredients I was eating a ton. But my allergies were so confusing, like growing up, that I was, I think, scared to eat from a really young age because I didn't know, and we all didn't know what would make me react.
Yeah.
And even once we knew, I still didn't have control when I couldn't read ingredients.
Right.
But once like that became normal for me, it was on. I was eating like crazy. And even then, I remember like I had a teacher in 3rd grade who told my mom that she thought I was anorexic. My mom had a guy friend who was like really pushing my mom to put me on like, I don't know if it couldn't have been Slim Fast, but like some opposite kind of milk that like beefs you up. There was a lot of that. A lot of like concerns because I was just thin, you know?
And that was probably at the time, even like allergies wasn't nearly as big as it is now either, right?
No.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't like it was now.
Because now you get like gluten-free everything, nut-free everything. You can get all that. So then it was just kind of like,
they're like,
you're lucky if this time nuts.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Good luck at birthday parties and all the other stuff. I was so scared to eat that like every evening became when my parents were just together, like it felt like a big chore. Like they'd be pushing for me to finish my plate. There was a lot of the whole like they're starving kids in Africa. And I was like, you can FedEx it to those kids, you know?
Yeah, happy to donate.
Yeah, someone else can eat it. But then, okay, this is my mom being wild. My mom because obviously all of my mom's crazy fears come for her loving me and wanting me to be okay.
Right.
But the thing she'd tell me when I wouldn't eat at the table was that if I don't eat, they're going to take me to a hospital. And at the hospital, they're going to put needles in your veins and your wrists and feed you through those needles. Like, that doesn't give a child an appetite. But like, it's a horrific thing to say to a kid.
That is a definite parenting style of putting fear in the kid.
It's wild.
Yeah.
It makes sense that I'm such a fear-based creature, actually.
But I feel like that was most of the parenting style back then was
It
always
must
just
have been.
fear-based, right?
Yeah.
It's always, don't do this, you'll get,
You'll die.
Yeah. Yeah, that was always, my mom was pretty good on a lot of that. She wouldn't do that much. I don't think there was, I can't even think of any instance where she would, I guess at one time it was just always the kidnapping thing.
Yeah.
It was always that, because if I'd run and hide in the store or something, she'd be like, oh, there's somebody's going to take you. You can't do that.
You're also your third child.
Yeah.
Third child, I feel like hands are so much more off sometimes, even by second child, like they were different with me and my younger brother.
Yeah. No, definitely. I think, rules definitely changed for me for sure.
Yeah.
But I also weirdly went very straight. I was like, you want me home at 10? Okay, I'll be here at 9:55. It's fine. It's fine. Maybe 9:45, 9:30 if you want me.
Do you think it's seeing the difficulties with,
Yeah.
because I think my brother hated watching me and my mom fight. And even now, if we seem like we're fighting, when we're not, he'll freak out.
Yeah.
He'll want to leave the room.
Yeah, I didn't like the arguing or the confrontation stuff, so
Yeah.
I don't think I wanted any part of that. And I saw my brother and sister go through that just in their growing up with their different issues that they had to deal with growing up. But so I think you go one or two routes. You either follow in their footsteps or you kind of go the exact opposite. I think I went in the opposite in that sense.
Yeah.
And didn't want to deal. So I just was like, because I didn't even I think maybe I drank like twice in high school or something.
Oh, he's
and
crazy.
Then, yeah, I mean, even my 21st birthday, I think my friend and I went to, not Fridays, maybe it was Fridays, and we had like a beer,
Mm-hmm.
and we ordered a shot, and then this is how bad we ordered the shot, and then the guy bartender came to us, and then went around the entire bar serving everybody,
Uh-huh.
and then by the time he made it back to us, we still hadn't taken the shot, and then the guy's like, this isn't sipping tea. And we're like, oh, geez, sorry.
Oh, so sorry.
We're men. We're two 21-year-old men.
Big and grown, just like you.
Yeah. Just terrified. So I didn't drink. I didn't do anything. I didn't drink probably till I drank, but
Yeah.
I didn't enjoy it in any sense.
Yeah.
Till probably my mid-20s.
Yeah. Do you have the taste for it now? Because I'm going to be honest, I don't necessarily love the taste of alcohols. I got to mix it in with other stuff.
Yeah, now I think it's other stuff's playing its part where it's like, I love beer. I think it tastes
Yeah.
great. But I'm also like, 3 beers. I'm just bloated and feel gross.
Yeah,
And
I
I'm going
can't
to
drink a lot
fart
of
all
beers.
night. And yeah. So beer gets harder. Mixed drinks is good. I like
Yeah.
that. Those seem pretty good.
I love mixed drinks.
Like gin and tonic or whatever.
Mhm.
That's good. Wine.
Classic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now I started doing scotch.
Yeah.
I really like that too.
Yeah. You seem like a Scotch man.
Yeah. It's good. It's kind of a different buzz too. Do you like scotch at all?
I don't understand those complex tastes.
No?
Whiskey, Scotch, bourbon, those ones where you just drink it straight.
Yeah.
Those are really intense on the mouth.
I think that's part of it though, because I have no sense of smell. So I think for me having, that's why I like IPA beer. I don't like regular light beer. I like scotch, but I like it neat. I don't like it on ice because it waters it down to me, the taste of it.
I like it. I take a taste, go, wow, that's crazy. And then maybe 5 minutes later be like, what does it taste like again? And go, oh, that's crazy. But I could do that for a while.
Yeah.
But in terms of going, I will enjoy this the whole time.
I mean, definitely if you asked me when I was your age, I would have said the same thing. I would have been like, no.
Yeah.
Not at all. I don't like any of that stuff.
Wow.
I'm not even sure I liked wine until maybe I was your age.
It really depends on the wine.
Yeah. It was just like beer guy. And even then I was like, I don't really like this. I'm just drinking it because I'm a superhero.
Yeah, you are. Nobody knows. Nobody knows.
Nobody knows what happens when I get 3 beers in me.
The terrible date I was on recently, the guy was sober. He wasn't doing drinking. And usually I ask why, but sometimes I don't want to ask why.
Yeah.
But I remember on the date he was telling me about, he's going to his intense life story, and one of them was about his father being an alcoholic. And in my mind, I'm like, Yeah, whose wasn't? Like, isn't that isn't that what a father is?
Yeah. Those are the same thing. Equal,
Yeah.
equal, same. Yeah, I know. I mean, I always question that why people stopped, because I know there's some people that just do it because it's health or whatever.
Yeah,
But I always feel like there is a really good story behind it somewhere.
there
that you're just
can be.
I'm
Yeah,
just, especially on a dating, I'd be like, are you
yeah.
a really bad superhero? When you drink, do you tear up this room for other reasons?
Yeah, why are you tearing up this room? Do you just take off your clothes and cry on the ground? Are you that kind of superhero?
Yeah. Do you get real physical, start abusing people?
Yeah, it's always curious, huh?
Yeah. That's the one. When do you ask that then, if you didn't ask it the first date?
Well, I think I knew probably I really wasn't seeing him again, so it wasn't that important to me. Instead, I asked him a lot about if he thinks there are parallel universes, and he explained the experiments to me.
Did he talk about the robots?
No, he didn't talk. That's your thing.
Okay. Just seeing if it's multiple people.
I will say, so like the thing that you said about like everyone being robots, I did have sometime in high school. I wasn't doing well, and I had convinced myself that everything was fake, that I was like experiencing a whole fake world, that it was all made up, that all of history was made up for part of this, whatever this ruse was.
Yeah.
And I was like, I need to kill myself. That was kind of like my thinking, like, this is all fake, I need to kill myself. But then in my brain, I'm like, in the like slide off chance this isn't fake, this is really gonna fuck up my little brother if I kill myself.
Oh, wow.
So I did not. And it
Wow.
could still be fake, but
It's not.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah.
Probably. And that I agree with this date guy that there are multiple universes, probably.
You think so?
Well, his experiment, I think, didn't prove it. The one that he said he read that proves it.
Oh, I thought he was running the experiment. I was like,
Yeah.
it's like based on this date.
Based on my thing. No, he's not. Well, he's a photons guy. He's a material scientist. He loves photons. And so I was like trying to get something interesting out of him. So I'm like, what do you think about the world being a simulation? Because I read some articles and he's like, I don't know about that, but there are multiple universes. I'm like, really? Even though I believe it, I'm like, really? And he's like, science proves it. I'm like, really? How? And basically a light beam gets shot up to a beam splitter where the light goes in two different directions. One of the ones that goes off, they do a mirror to shoot these same light beams back to a beam splitter. But this time the beam doesn't get split. Half the light goes through, half the light disappears. And supposedly that's proof there's multiple universes? Like, that doesn't feel like... It feels like a big conclusion to jump to because we can't find the light.
Yeah.
It's like, I can't find my keys, so there are multiple universes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that seems like a hard leap.
I didn't buy him.
Yeah, I don't agree.
Yeah.
No second date for that guy.
No, he texted me, though. Texted saying, like, do you believe in the multiverse?
You're like, I believe we're dating in another universe, but not this one.
I should have said that. There's another universe where I go on a second date with you, and we're not in it,
We're not
buddy.
in that one. We're in the one where I hopefully never see you again. That's the one we're in.
Oh, man. There's one date many years, very handsome man that I went on a date with. And he worked for, at some point, I think he worked for NASA doing lasers, and now he's working at the time for Uber doing lasers. I don't know. He is a laser guy.
There's Uber lasers now.
There's Uber lasers. Well,
Okay.
I don't know what the laser, I don't know. Anyway, but he believed that aliens had been to this planet before, and that every time the Bible says angel or talks about angels, they're actually talking about aliens.
Okay.
And he's like, that's how Jesus had his powers, because he was probably half alien. And I'm like, don't you think maybe this woman just got pregnant with a guy and lied about it? And he's like, well, listen, if you were an alien and you went to a planet with beings you never saw before, the first thing you would do is try to impregnate them.
It's the most guy thing ever.
It's a crazy thing to tell a woman on a date. It's like, what?
Look, if you got that, you wouldn't try and fuck something? Come on. That's like list number one.
You impregnate them and you leave them. Yeah, it was wild.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's a crazy thing to tell someone.
Yeah, I don't. I always I think like, you know, like when they say, is it squid or octopus? are aliens. You've heard those?
Oh no.
Yeah, so they say that that's like a spore or whatever that like came in, and then it's because it can go on land and sea or whatever, but it's so intelligent that it's probably an alien life form that came here. You haven't heard that?
So smart has to be aliens? That's like what they say about the pyramids, right?
Yeah, I think that's what it is. But I think it's just because it looks so
It looks like a
weird.
little freak?
Yeah, like that one I get, like, if you said that, but if it's like Jeff or whatever, you're like, this guy's not fucking dead. Nobody's...
If the octopus was able to handle fire, we'd be fucked. If they could be on land enough to fuck with fire,
yeah,
I think.
But you've seen them like break into safes and
I've
open
seen
jars
them.
and all
I've
that.
seen
shit.
puzzles squeeze through tiny
Yeah.
plate. Like they are brilliant.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying I agree that they are too smart.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But I mean, it's brilliant for like
For what it is.
not human, right?
We could do
We always
so
go
much
like,
cooler
it's brilliant.
stuff.
It's like, well, my fucking 3-year-old can also do that. But
Yeah, but the colors, they can camouflage different colors. That's pretty cool, right?
I guess.
You don't think it's that cool?
I don't think it's that cool.
Yeah, maybe you're
They
right.
have ink in them. Yes, of course they can change color.
Yeah, you're right. The ink makes sense. I never put that together.
Full of color.
They're like those pens with all the different colors on them. That's all they're doing.
That's all.
Easy.
Red, blue. Yeah,
Huh.
I like it.
Oh, one thing I did want to say to you is I didn't realize we both had cross-country dads.
Hmm.
Yours was in Connecticut. Mine was in Miami.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, mine was for about 6 years or so. Then he came back.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Then lived here.
Mine's still in Miami. So no need to brag, Phil.
Yeah, mine said he left me and came back. So
That's why you have a family and you're happy now. And I'm here living with a bunch of comics. Do you feel like we've guided each other today?
I think so. I learned some stuff.
What'd you learn?
I learned your dad wasn't around, and I learned. I learned that there is a very happy parallel universe that you're dating
There
this guy and
is.
probably married.
Yeah,
No.
probably with kids.
Yeah.
And I probably went out for a pack of smokes and never came back.
What did you learn today?
Your dad came back. I don't know why we're doing this podcast.
Do we need a jingle?
Yeah, you start it and I'll join in.
Just a low bass jingle.
Uh-huh. I do like that we're stretching, I think, the listeners and the technology's ears to the complete range of possible
Yeah.
pitches.
Yeah, I know.
The lowest low and the highest high.
Yeah, that's good. We'll get complaints on both sides.
I think we'll only get complaints on one side, actually, and I could bet which one it is.
No, they'll be like, this guy's fucking mumbling the entire time. I can't hear anything he says.
Okay.
That's what I get a lot.
Yeah?
Yeah, from my wife.
This guy keeps
Yeah.
mumbling.
That's what my wife and my daughter are always like, what did you say? I was like, I said it. And she's like, well, you're fucking mumbling all the time. I was like, I don't think this is my normal voice. I can't not mumble.
In green room, sometimes I can't hear you.
Yeah.
I don't think you're mumbling. You're just very soft spoken, and then everyone else is so loud.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Trying to keep that Clark Kent.
Yeah, you got it. Can't let them know.
Can't let him know. And we're done.
Did we do a good job?
That's how we end it.
Yep. Happy
we're
Where's
done.
Dad?
Happy Where's Dad? We're done.
Bye.
Where's Dad?